You ever have your life turned completely upside down over something as dumb as a flower? Because let me tell you, there's nothing quite like standing on your own front porch at 7:15 in the evening, hands shaking, two cops reading you your Miranda rights over red geraniums you planted because they were on sale at Home Depot. Yeah, that happened. My wife Rachel was out of town government contractor stuff, wouldn't tell me the details. And there I was, 42 years old, history teacher, staring down at my front yard with a fine for visual aggression. Meanwhile, the neighbors peeking through their curtains like it was the best show in town. That was just the beginning, the first knock on the door. The second one changed everything. Drop a comment below if you've ever gotten tangled up in an HOA nightmare, because I promise you can't make this stuff up. Let me back up a sec. Rachel leaves early Sunday for another top secret work trip. She's always cagey, says security clearance, and that's it. After 5 years, I learned not to pry. So I got a whole weekend to myself and a bare patch of dirt in the yard that's bugged me since we moved in. Home Depot's got these geraniums, blood red, practically glowing, and I'm thinking, why not? I buy a dozen, spend 3 hours in the sun, planting them just right. For the first time, the place feels like home instead of some copy-paste beige box in Riverside Meadows. Monday morning, I'm grading essays, coffee in hand, when I spot this fancy envelope in the mailbox. The kind of paper that means trouble. HOA letter, formal, legal, downright cold. Prohibited plant species. Section 4.7. $200 fine due in 10 business days. I read it 3 times thinking this has got to be a joke. Who bans red flowers? But nope, the rules are clear, only white, pink, or yellow flowers. Red is visually aggressive and contrary to community harmony. I call the HOA office, leave a message. No answer. Next day, another letter. This one's nastier, an inspector measured. My grass said it was a 1/4 inch too high. Another $200 fine photos attached. Someone actually crept onto my lawn with a ruler and a camera. I'm standing there thinking, who has time for this? The letters sounded like they came from 2 different people, one all legalese, the other threatening. Wednesday night, there's a knock. Guy named Kyle, HOA vice president. Mid-40s, sweating bullets won't meet my eye. He blurts out that the flowers gotta go, grass needs a trim, the HOA has enforcement actions, but he's sure I'll do the right thing. Then he's gone, didn't even wait for an answer. Thursday, I go to the HOA meeting. 20 bored people, Brenda Mitchell at the front table looking like she runs the Supreme Court. Late 50s, perfect hair, smile that never touches her eyes. I stand, explain my situation, say I'm willing to fix it. Can we talk about these fines? She smiles, this Arctic cold smile, and says she appreciates my cooperation, but maybe I should hire my own inspector to check for other violations at my expense, of course. Not a suggestion, a threat in a bow tie. I tried chatting with neighbors afterward. Nobody wants to talk except one older guy, Tom Reynolds, military posture, probably pushing 70. On his way out, he mutters, oak tree. They've been threatening me for 2 years. Planted it when my son was born. They want it gone because it blocks someone's view. Then he's gone, leaving me with the sense I'd just been given a warning from a man too afraid to say it out loud. Friday morning, it's 2 a.m., and I wake up to footsteps on my porch. I peek out, there's a shadowy figure in a hoodie placing something by my steps. They bolt to a dark car and speed off. I open the door, turn on the light, there's a metal rat trap big enough to break fingers and a note. Careful where you step. My hands are shaking. Someone wants to hurt me over flowers. I barely sleep. When the sun comes up, the trap looks ridiculous, but the fear is real. I call the non-emergency police line. Get Detective Harris, guy gave a talk at my school once. Seemed decent. He checks out the trap, takes some photos, shrugs, says it's probably kids. Maybe get cameras, he'll be in touch. Doesn't even bag the evidence. So I drop $400 on cameras and a Ring doorbell spend Saturday screwing them in front back side gate. I want to feel some kind of control again. The next morning I'm checking the porch for more surprises and find a blue plastic button wedged between the steps like from a cheap uniform shirt. Whoever set that trap was there long enough to lose a button. The HOA keeps piling on, curb too close, house numbers wrong, font, mailbox non-compliant. The violations feel made up, the letters come like bad weather. And that's when I start seeing the black Suburban. Parked down the block at the grocery store, always watching same mud on the logo, Martinez Investigations. I start taking photos, documenting everything, because suddenly I know I need proof. Next weekend, I run into Tom Reynolds. He quietly tells me he's seen Brenda and Detective Harris together at the diner, laughing way too friendly. I dig online and find Brenda was a lawyer disbarred in 2018 for ethical violations. Now she runs the HOA like a little kingdom. I realize this is about power, not rules. I trace the button to Martinez Investigations, Denver, dark blue shirts, ex-military owner. These aren't pranks. Someone hired professionals to intimidate me. Then comes a manila envelope, no return address inside. Our surveillance photos of me at home, at school, the store, all taken from that Suburban. No note, just a warning you're being watched. And then the real gut punch, a foreclosure threat for unpaid fines. $800 for flowers, grass, mailbox, the works. 30 days or they take my house. That night I see Brenda in the grocery store. She gets close, says, "Your wife's government work depends on clean paperwork and quiet lives. Would be a shame if the wrong kind of attention found its way into her file." Then she walks off like she just told me about the weather. A couple nights later, 2 cops show up, read me my Miranda rights on the porch, threaten me with arrest for harassment. I'm shaking, but something feels off. Their uniforms are 2 crisp sneakers instead of boots, no radios. When they leave, I pull the ring footage, and it's clear these aren't real police, just actors. I save the footage, back it up. Now I've got evidence of a real crime. I call Detective Harris. He brushes me off, says without badge numbers there's nothing he can do. That's when I stop being scared and start getting mad. Then Brenda emails. The HOA accuses me of threatening her in public files for a restraining order. A judge grants it. 100 yards stay away makes it impossible to live my life. Rachel comes home, finds me hunched over maps, trying to avoid Oak Street. I tell her everything. She listens, then goes into work mode, making calls behind closed doors. Next day, my principal says the school's been notified about the restraining order. One more problem and I'm out. I'm losing everything over flowers. Sunday, I drive to the store, hit a detour, wind up accidentally passing Brenda's house. Next morning, Detective Harris arrests me for violating the order. Footage cell tower pings the works. I'm cuffed on my own porch, mugshot, holding cell bail. Rachel pays it. And on the drive home, I finally accuse her of never being around, always keeping secrets while my life burns down. She just says, "Trust me for one more week. This ends." All of it. That night, Tom Reynolds shows up, finally ready to talk. He says he's seen Brenda and Harris together, will testify if needed. School board puts me on unpaid suspension. I get a text in the middle of the night. "Could have just pulled the flowers, Tyler. Now you've lost your job. Freedom and dignity. Want this to end? Remove geraniums. Apologize at the HOA meeting. I'll drop the charges. BM." I show Rachel. She says, "We're not pulling the flowers. I'm at rock bottom." She says, "This is about bullies, not flowers." Next morning, she reads the text again. Extortion in writing. Her first real mistake. I'm too angry to care. She sits me down, voice different, strong. "Tyler, I'm FBI. Special Agent Rachel Winters, Public Corruption Division. 12 years, I nearly fall over. Turns out my wife has been undercover the whole time. The secrecy was about keeping me safe. Brenda's mistake, sending fake cops, crossed the line. Now Rachel can act. She says we'll fix this together." That afternoon, Kyle, the HOA vice president, meets us in a coffee shop. Confesses Brenda's been blackmailing him for years. Makes him do her dirty work, and hands over a USB with 3 years of recordings. Rachel listens. Brenda ordering surveillance, discussing theatrical deterrence for me, references to bribes for Harris, fake cop plot. Martinez refused the fake cop job. He knew it was a felony, but Brenda found actors herself. Rachel's plan, I apologize at the HOA meeting, wire up for evidence. Brenda's pride will make her gloat. If she threatens Rachel, it's game over. At the meeting, I act defeated. Brenda Preens warns me any more trouble and I'll regret it. She brings up Rachel says clearance reviews don't like legal problems, slips me a paper with government guidelines, threatens Rachel's career. It's all on tape. Rachel calls her supervisor, FBI, opens an official investigation. Warrants lined up for Monday, but we know Brenda's desperate. Sure enough, she ignores her lawyer's advice, hires the same fake cops for a final scare, except this time Rachel is ready. Sunday night, they pound on the door demanding to arrest us. Rachel opens up, FBI badge on her belt, weapon visible. Hands on your head, on your knees. The two actors crack immediately. Brenda Mitchell hired us. Please don't shoot, we're just actors. All on camera. Rachel calls it an FBI raids Brenda's house that night. They find her burning documents, shredders jammed, chaos everywhere. She's cuffed, screaming. She has dirt on everyone, but Rachel steps forward, badge shining, tells her, "You built your own prison, brick by brick." Brenda's fight goes out like a candle. Within days, the whole mess unravels. Martinez turns state's witness. Detective Harris is suspended, pension gone. Kyle gets probation for cooperating. Judge Patterson is indicted. The HOA is dissolved. Brenda gets 8 years in federal prison, and our community finally gets to breathe. You know what's wild? It started with red flowers. Now every yard's bursting with color: roses, tulips, wildflowers, geraniums. Tom's oak tree is officially protected, and neighbors actually talk to each other. Rachel and I sit on our deck, holding hands, sunlight catching our rings, watching the garden bloom again. I used to think peace was the absence of trouble. Now I know it's the courage to stand up even when you're all alone. So here's my question for you. If you saw someone bullied by an HOA, would you stand up or stay quiet? Have you ever had to fight for something that seemed small but turned out to mean everything? Drop your thoughts below, share your own stories, and let's talk about what real justice means. Because sometimes it's the little battles, like the fight for a red flower, that show us who we really are.